#1 show in late night. Another more illustrious guest. Tonight we got
Gary Owen, y'all. He's a comedian, and you know him as the white guy that was on Comic View all the time.
He hosted the only white guy to ever hold Comic View. Give it up. All right? Gary Owens, HBO's All Deaf Comedy, which premieres
December 1st, motherfucker, tune in.
I'm glad you guys said that, because usually they always say the first white comic. I'm like, only.
Let them know.
Only.
Make them claro, put some respect on your
Only,
name.
baby.
How did you survive Comic View, bro? That is a brutal stage to be
I
on
didn't.
and not get cooked.
I didn't mind it. I was single and I liked black girls, and there was a lot there. I was like, I'm good.
Circles overlap. Because you grew
Man.
up in Cincinnati?
Cincinnati in a trailer park. So I didn't see black girls growing up.
Okay.
I just saw them on TV. Good times. That's when I knew. Thelma.
Thelma, was that your first black crush?
My God.
Thelma?
Yeah, everybody else like Joni from Happy Days and all that. I was like, nah.
Have you ever met Thelma from...
I have. She still looks good.
so bad
Her
as
daughter's
fuck, yeah.
good looking.
Oh, she got kids too?
Man, she got one. That's what I heard.
Not yours?
Not mine.
All right, gotta make sure.
No, she's dark.
All right, you got the... you got the All Deaf Comedy series coming through. What's your fans be most excited about?
For me, I wasn't supposed to be on it. When you see the first episode, I was in the audience. And I went to go watch it. And then Tony Rock's the host,
Right.
and he saw me, and he goes, Gary, when did you do Def Jam? I said, never did.
Right.
He goes, you never did it? I was like, nah. He goes, you want to do it? I was like, all right. It was one of the things where I knew I didn't have any paperwork signed.
Right.
And I knew my agent,
Hollywood
manager's
things.
gonna be mad.
Yeah.
But you had a mic, you had a captive audience, and everybody stood up like, get up there. So it was like a crackhead and they had a crack pipe. I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't be doing it. I felt like Chris Rock in New Jack City.
Shaking their hands, you were your poop, like,
Oh my God.
crying, the tears coming out.
But I got on, so and it went, once I got done, I was like, it's almost like a bucket list, because I don't have like a comic I look up to. Def Jam was what made me want to do stand-up. When I saw like the audience reaction and what Martin was talking about and the crowd going, I was like, that's the shit I want. You know what I mean? Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
All the time.
I know
Smoke
it's
weed,
gonna be-
cuss and shit, bro.
My problem.
I might take my pants off.
What's the
fault.
what's the competition like on the show? Because you have established comedians and you have new ones. What are they going at each other? Is it like
Nah, it's like
friendly competition?
It's friendly
Everyone's
competition.
rolling?
Yeah. It's just like, I think they got like one quote unquote heavy hitter, big name, and then you got 3 up and comers every episode, or maybe 2. I'm not sure.
Is there anybody, any of the new guys that you see and are like, yo, this guy got it?
You know what? You're gonna think I'm lying. I don't watch stand-up.
You don't
I
watch stand-up?
don't watch stand-up because I've seen it over the years. There's clones. People might not take jokes, but they take mannerisms.
See, this is what I'm talking
And
about.
I told myself like 9 years ago, I said, I'm
Not
just
gonna
not
watch
watching it because I want to know my stuff is mine.
Right.
You don't want the
It's pure.
joke creep, where
Yeah.
it's not stealing the joke, but you steal the idea.
Yeah, because there's
the
a
idea
lot
of the
of
joke.
yeah.
Right.
I seen like Dane Cook was hot at a time. At one time, he still is, but I see a lot of guys doing Dane Cook
lot of
movements
Dane
like
Cook
I eat, I throw up, I throw up. You know. You're black. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I see a lot of that now on stage. I'm like, oh my God.
Right, you used to be in the military. What was your hardest day like? The military.
Hardest day now. For 2 years, I was in a presidential honor guard, which is when I was in boot camp. They said everybody over 6 foot with a 34-inch waist come down, and they give you this whole video of you're at the White House, you're doing parades and all these festivals, and there's a lot of pomp and circumstance.
Like
and,
sexy.
Yeah, and it looked good. And so I didn't know, like 80 guys signed up. 4 of us made it because it's a huge screening process because you are on the White House lawn a lot. And so I didn't know all this. I didn't know they went back to my high school and talked to my principal, and they pulled up all these, made sure I didn't have a police record and all that. Can't be crazy. But that was the hardest because you get out of boot camp and then you go in this thing called training platoon. So you're in boot camp for 2.5 months, then you get 2 weeks off, then you go in this thing called training platoon for 2 months. That was harder in boot camp because you're just stuck in like an addict with like 30 other people, and they're just teaching you how to spin the rifles and do your uniforms and march, how you're supposed to march. It was intense, man. It was intense. And it's all dudes. Whoa.
How long were you trapped there in it, all dudes? How long was your, well, not trapped there, but.
Training platoon?
Yeah.
Training platoon it's about 2 months.
2 months.
About 2 months. Yeah, so you're looking at 2 months in boot camp, all dudes, 2 weeks off, and then 2 months again.
Wow.
So those 2 weeks you were
4
like,
months,
yo.
man.
How did your comedy experience, your comedy training, or your comedy background help you get through that? Was that where you honed your comedy, or did that affect your comedy at all?
Were you in the barracks roasting like, boy?
No, I was pretty funny because when you're in the honor guard, you get these jackets and it says United States Navy Presidential Honor Guard when you get through the 2 months. And my nickname was Smiley because I was always smiling. You're not supposed to smile all the time.
Right.
I couldn't help my natural face is like a shit-eating grin. So I'd be like online like,
Spinning around.
and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, sorry. I try to get serious. I'm like. I just couldn't hold a straight face. I was the first, I'll tell you what, when I was in boot camp, I was the first guy that got in trouble too the first day. Because it's like 3:30 in the morning, you're in your bunks, you don't know what to expect, and all of a sudden the doors open, garbage can, they're cussing you out and stuff. And I yawned, and the guy walked by me, and I just went, and he was like, am I boring you, motherfucker? And I was like this, I go, no. And he's like, you gotta say sir. I go, no sir. He goes, I can't hear you. So I had to yell no sir. All day my first day, I had to walk around with my mouth open. That was my punishment. And that doesn't seem like it's hard. After about 5 hours, your shit starts to get hard and shit. Like everywhere I went.
Chips in your mouth and shit? Like, what the fuck?
No, just all day. Imagine doing your show for 5 hours, and he's talking, and you can't say shit. You just gotta sit here.
That's actually not bad. We should.
That's me and my beef at 2 a.m. Everybody.
Yo,
Just calm your mouth out,
man.
I got him call EMT. Talk about your family a lot. You know what I'm saying? Your family-oriented dude.
It's all right. I'm not contagious.
Is that ever a time? No, he's good. It's not Ebola. It's nothing serious.
Checking.
Just regular.
If you see me
saw my face?
Yeah.
if you see me changing during the interview, though, like just run out of here and
He's good. He's not changing.
I didn't get bit by a Walker.
Walker, that's my show, boy.
Oh, you watch Walker?
Oh my God.
Okay.
I watch Walking Dead so much when I walk into buildings, I'm like, if shit pops off now.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I already told my family they wouldn't make it.
Do you have a plan?
I would leave them.
You leaving them?
Oh,
Wow. Talk about this.
I'm different than Rick. Rick, like, we're trying to get back to his family. I go, they're gone.
They're gone.
I would have woke up at the hospital like, they're long
they're dead.
gone.
Fuck it.
I know my wife and kids been dead
He's
for
starting
a minute.
over right now. What's your Walker/zombie survival tips for us? What would be your weapon of choice?
Oh, my weapon. Oh, God. You want to say a gun, but then it attracts more.
Right.
Yeah. Just a knife. Just a regular ass.
Yeah,
I don't want a machete.
You want to go in on the fucking zombie like,
Yeah, maybe a machete's probably better.
What do we think,
You
like
don't
a
want to get
kitchen
too
knife?
close. I'm just like, not a little blade.
knife?
Little blade, like a little
Little
pen knife?
blade.
peeler. Like peeling them zombie and shit. Like,
You're like a prison shank.
Let's try to kill him with a box
Yeah,
cutter.
machete's probably better.
Okay.
Does your family ever tell you to chill? Like, yo, stop talking about us, bro. They're like, nah, fuck it.
That's how we pay the bills.
Yeah, that's how the bills are paid. She checks me sometimes. Like one time I had a blowjob joke in my act. My wife goes, it sounds like you're still getting that blowjob from that strange girl. So I was trying to reword it. It just wouldn't come out right. So I just lied to her. When she came to the show, I'd reword it. But when she went around, I went back to the original shit. Because I was doing a joke like, yeah, when girls suck your dick. And then she goes, you have to say when girls used to suck your dick.
You
Okay.
gotta change the.
I mean, I did it for her, but once she wasn't there, I'm like,
back to the present.
Have you ever got a double tapping?
Huh? We're not talking about this.
This is how he got far. He knows he's not trying to
No,
mess
we're
with
not
me.
going there, boy.
Gary Owens is smart.
It should come on at 11?
Nah.
We're watching the shit.
Even when Kev got into trouble, right? You know, my wife said, "Did you see what happened to Kevin?" I said, "I'm focused on my own career."
Exactly.
What did Kevin do?
What was it? Was that day like? Was it people calling you? Like, were people like, yo, you want to make a
Nonstop.
comment?
Like I didn't know.
Like the
I
stand-up
didn't-
community was like, yo,
Oh
son,
my God.
yo,
It's
you see Kev?
it was awful because if an athlete or rapper gets busted, that doesn't affect me. I'm a stand-up. But a stand-up, every stand-up had to come home to that shit. My wife was in my edge. Better not that happen to you. I was like, you better not happen to you. Kev didn't fuck himself in that video.
Wait, the girl was asking for how much? It was 10 mil.
That's what she did. She overshot.
That overshot.
that's what it is.
Overshot.
What do you feel is a reasonable extortion amount?
10,000.
Okay, anything?
You would have
I feel like
got
she
that
could've- I feel like she
and
could've-
tickets to the show.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like she could have asked Kev for like,
I'll give you EP on the.
Right.
And he would have been like, all right,
Right. Give me some Tommy John underwear.
Yeah.
10K.
Good to go.
Yeah. 10 mil.
What? I'm just gonna give her cash? 10 mil?
Right.
Like, how do we? How
That's
we
easy.
doing this?
That's easy to make disappear. People read. Here's the thing. People read the what they're worth and stuff. They don't realize there's IRS, there's agents, there's managers. I mean, whatever you make, half of it's gone
Already
before you even do anything. You know what I mean? That's all they tell me. Don't read that shit. I tell that to my other family members. I ain't got it.
Like, I'm pop, baby.
IRS is
Can
on
we
me.
Google Gary Owens' net worth right now? Like, let's see.
It's not correct.
Is it enough that you feel comfortable having this on the internet, or do you wish it was more?
I never looked it up. This is gonna be new to me
Here you go.
too.
Let's find out.
I've never looked it up.
Find out Gary Owens' word.
Bullshit is.
What's he saying? Is that 3 mil?
Oh, 3 million.
3 mil? Okay.
That's what it says.
That's what it says?
He's like,
Nah,
that's
with
what-
that?
Now keep in mind, IRS, my agent, my manager, and my lawyer. So that ain't 3 million. I ain't got 3 million just passing on.
Oh, yeah, what's good?
All right, you once won a funniest black comedian contest in San Diego. How'd you pull that off?
It was a radio call-in. I didn't say I was black or wasn't black. I just called the radio station, gave a little flavor to my voice. Hey, what up? You got a contest? All right then. What time? I'll be there.
Would be. I would have been like,
And I
yo.
showed up and I got in the contest. And interesting about that contest is I met Nick Cannon there. Nick Cannon wasn't in the contest. He was a rapper at the time in a rap group called The Bomb Squad in San Diego.
Wow.
And it was Nick and this other kid, and it ended up, Nick ended up being like Ryan Seacrest, and the other kid was like Brian Dunkelman. Like, I don't know where he's at now.
Brian Dunkelman.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
But this is a true story. Like, so Nick was in the Bomb Squad, and I met the guy that was managing him at the time, a local guy out of San Diego, and Magic Johnson had the talk show in the late 90s.
Yeah.
He was looking for a co-host. And he came to one of my shows, and I was putting a VHS tape together at my house, and Nick came over as the manager, and Nick goes, I think I'm gonna start doing stand-up. I was like, you should. And then the next week, he would go to this place called Mr. O's in San Diego, a little hole in the wall. And Nick went up, I think it was his first time on stage, he was doing other people's jokes. And I told him, I said, Nick, what are you doing? I said, that's so-and-so's joke. He goes, yeah, I saw it last night, I thought it was funny. I go, no, you can't do other people's jokes. You gotta do your own shit. So he wasn't doing it on purpose.
just didn't know.
He's a teenager.
Right.
He didn't know. I said, no, you gotta do your own shit. And then he did the Bay, we went up together and did the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition in '98. And that's where like the Nickelodeon execs saw him. And then he was the warm up on all that, and the rest is history. But I remember that was the contest where everybody's like, but I said he was a young guy, he was good looking, and he was clean. His material was clean.
Yeah.
So you're in a contest with adults where they're talking about dick and pussy and fucking, and Nick's going up there doing teenage stuff. So I was like, I saw it.
Brilliant.
So.
Did he cut you a check for that? Like, yo, thanks for giving me my half
Nope.
of this?
Nope. I got on Wildin' Out this year.
Hey.
Hey, I only took 20 years. But I appreciate it, man.
Listen, it's a big deal.
No, he's a good dude. I was happy for his success. I really was.
Nick is a good deal. Now, black audiences love you, and you don't pander. You're very natural. Like, you're here working with us. You're not,
Yeah.
not getting your Eminem on. Everyone, 315.
Yeah, everybody in the 313.
What is it about, like, why do black people like you? Explain the secret.
Tell us.
Well, my thing is always this. I'm always like, there's a difference between pandering to your audience and playing to your audience. I play to my audience. What I mean by that is, like if I'm at the West Virginia State Fair, I'm not gonna talk about Lil Wayne.
Right.
If I'm at the Apollo, I'm not gonna talk about Garth Brooks.
Right.
You gotta play to your audience, but I'm not pandering and I'm just doing shit to try to get on your side
Right.
and do like, yeah, you got motherfucking crazy motherfucker. I'm not gonna do that. I don't talk like that.
I'd watch
you
that,
know?
though.
You know? Are you what?
I'd be like, yo, this guy motherfucking,
But I think that has got me over, and I've always asked questions if I don't know anything that black community does. I ask on stage, and I give my perspective. Like I did a joke about the black church for a long time. I said, why is it so long? I just don't get it. You know, I prefer white church.
Very quick.
In and out.
45
man.
minutes.
We're at IHOP 10:45.
Oh, wow.
Really out?
At 10:45.
Oh my God.
Oh, we just warming up, baby.
Man.
You didn't even get it at 10:45.
You got black church, and I know this sounds bad, but I recently went to a black funeral. And black funerals is one thing too, because the preacher went up there, and it went from the funeral about the dude that died. Nah, he saw a big audience. He goes, "This is my church. I'm about to get off." He was up there for so long. Literally, a guy had to come aside and goes, "We gotta go. We only got the graveyard for so long. Like, my man is in the hearse. We got about 10 minutes. Let's do the rest."
You got sunlight. You got to bury the
But he kept getting people like, he was like, you know, who has it right with Jesus? Raise your hand. And like a couple hands went up. He goes, that ain't enough. That ain't enough. I'm like, dude,
man.
some of you motherfuckers just raise your hands.
Did you raise your hand?
Hell no, I didn't raise my hand.
You just laying low, like.
I was on stage, I was stuck. Because I spoke at the funeral. So I'm just sitting there stuck behind him like that dude.
Damn, Gary.
Oh, I should have just sat in the audience.
Yo, since you won 3 mil, what was your first millionaire balling purchase that you ever made? When you was like, yo, I made it.
Doesn't even have to be a like.
See, I'm dating myself. I'm dating myself
do it.
because I bought a big screen TV.
Hey,
The big one
Hey,
that didn't
the
fit
big
in the
back-
door.
Ah.
That shit was like that. It was so big that when we sold the house, we had to leave the TV because we could no longer. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
Ah.
It didn't fit the living room or nothing. It was just way too big for everything. And it wasn't like the flat screen. And it was bad because flat screens came in like the next year.
Right.
So my shit went from hot.
We're
Yeah,
from hot to just trash in like a year.
It's happened like twice. One time I bought a brand new GMC Denali, and then they changed the front end like 6 months later.
I
Now
remember
it
they
looks
did
like I got
that.
some bullshit. I went, I just bought this. They gotta tell you when they change it. It's like buying your favorite player's jersey and it gets traded. Now you got this old ass.
So it's still your
jersey.
team, but the player's
Yeah.
gone now. Like I want
Right.
to rep the team, but he's gone, and then
Exactly.
Been there,
like
bro.
you got a Dwayne Wade Heat jersey, and he goes to Chicago. I just got it, D Wade. I just got it.
How you in Cleveland? I know you fucking about whole
Right.
Damn, bro.
That's what I felt like. So that was my big purchase was the big screen
TV.
Yeah. That was,
Respect that.
man.
What's your take on transracialism?
I don't talk about stuff I can't spell.
That's smart. That's a smart take.
I can't spell it.
So we have this guy, and he says that he identifies as Filipino. Basically, he says that after, did he actually go to the Philippines? What was it? He just found out Filipino culture, and he feels like it touches him inside, and it's something that he.
Why can't he just say, well, white dude likes Filipino culture?
No, he wants to.
He's like, I'm Filipino fan. He's like,
I think he just wants to like root for Pacquiao or something.
I'd watch the History Channel sometimes for hours, you know, whenever it came to that, and, you know, nothing else intrigued me more but, you know, things about, you know, Filipino culture. I think if you're unhappy with who you are,
He looks
you
unhappy
hate
as a
yourself
kid.
for it.
yeah, he's like, damn. He's like, I wish I was Filipino.
That's how.
He's
That's
not
not
happy.
No one looked at the photo and was like, I wish.
Not a
It's
happy
a
childhood.
privilege.
You think people can be transracial?
Stupid. That's stupid.
You know
That
what?
guy's stupid. You don't have him on your show.
Oh no.
No.
You have nothing but illustrious guests.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I'm gonna have Gary Owens and have him on there.
Exactly.
Like, you call us and be like,
I'm not
fuck?
saying
Drop off.
I'm not saying I'm better than people, but I am.
You are. He hasn't hosted Comic View. Like, he hasn't.
Come on.
He's done nothing. He doesn't even like himself.
Have you been to the Philippines?
No, but my mom and dad had me in high school. I always say I was a homecoming baby because my birthday's in July, so I did the math. I was conceived in October. So my dad was in the Navy, and he was stationed in the Philippines in the 70s. So I'm pretty sure I got some brothers and sisters over there. Pretty sure.
Totally possible.
I'm pretty sure there is a half white, half Filipino killing the
Killing it.
karaoke.
Killing it.
Look at this guy.
Killing. That's not him.
That's not him?
That's not him. My dad did not knock off his mom.
Oh,
I gotta give my dad
Gary.
some props. He ain't got a lot of standards, but I know he didn't knock his mom off. My dad was slanging back in the day, man. He was bringing him in. I used to go to his apartment, man. One time my dad would pick me up, right? Like he would, sometimes he wouldn't show up on Sundays, right?
Right.
So one time he picked me up and I stayed all night with him. And he was in an apartment, but his couch, I laid down on it. His bedroom was one bedroom, but the bathroom's over here. So he had to walk by. So in the middle of the night, chick knocks on the door. He thinks I'm asleep. So I see him like taking the chick back to his room, right? And like an hour later, I see my dad just walking across naked to the bathroom, right? And that's the first time I saw like a male adult naked, right? So I'm like 8. And I was like, oh, snap. I literally told my mom, stop harassing him for child support because I got a blessing coming later on in life. Because I thought my dad was the most hung motherfucker on the planet. I was like, holy cow.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, Dad.
That's a whole other episode. 'Cause I think
That's amazing.
Every guy has
I
that
like
thing.
this. I woke up like,
Yo.
I kept looking down at my stuff like there was nothing there. I was
Come on,
8.
come
I was
on.
like, come on.
Gary Owens, what would you like your rainbow to say?
I won my 3rd grade spelling bee.
Did you? What was the word?
Groceries.
Spell it.
Groceries. Groceries.
Gary Owens. Right. He can spell.
And I won. I remember what I won. A deck of Unos.
Hey.
Uno cards.
Damn, you really
my
black. You
God.
like Uno?
You're watching the Desus Mero YouTube channel.
So subscribe, click the
all
buttons, all the buttons right here. This is the real YouTube shit. You know what I'm saying? Out here.
Gang, gang.
Squad.